there, Chipsters, and welcome back to the EPL eKasi zone, your home for fantasy chaos, log drama, and all things Premier League. We're about to unpack 3 straight game weeks, and trust me, they served drama, twist, and stress. Wins at the death, points dropped when you least expected it, title pressure rising like a braai flame on a Sunday afternoon. And yes, I tried to bring in a Man City fan for some insight, but looks like they're busy avoiding the press. So while City fans ducked the mic, we're jumping straight into the chaos, the recap, the fantasy impact, and the eKasi League tension. And then the Game Week 31 strategy you need before the deadline.
Right, Chipsters, let's talk about the games that had the streets talking. Game Week 28 with Arsenal versus Chelsea, which was a London tension. Arsenal edged it, not pretty but effective, and that's the scary part. They're winning without needing perfection lately. And then for Game Week 28, Arsenal said, let's create distance. A very comfortable win, a clean sheet, no drama. Meanwhile, City go to West Ham and dominate as usual, and then still drop points. Possession FC, but where are the goals, gents? And then for Game Week 30, this is where things got loud. City again controlling the game, creating chances but not finishing, dropping points when they should be closing the gap. And then Arsenal still picking up results like it's a routine. No panic, no noise, just points on board. So now the picture is somewhat clear, Chipsters. Arsenal are no longer chasing, they're setting the pace, where then we see City is no longer leading, they're more reactive. And from here, I think every game for these two sides is pressure.
Next up is Top Fantasy Club with Game Week 28. And we've got Ziad who said, let me show you levels. 125 points on the board. Heavy numbers there, where there's a bench boost activated, and it actually worked. No dust, no blanks. We've got Captain Bruno Fernandes with 26 points, which is not really luck. Perfect timing, I would say. And then we've got Etiquette stepping up with a big haul, while the bench said, don't forget about us, where we've got Wilson with 12 and Anthony with a 10. That's just not a team. That's a very full squad that is performing. Ziad didn't just win Game Week 28, he maximized every time. Now moving along to Game Week 29 for the Top Fantasy Club, we've got FD2R, who was the manager here, who said, let me raise the standard with 143 points. This was not winning, but rather dominating this week, where there's also a bench boost that is activated again, and once again, a full squad returns, no passengers. Captain João Pedro with 38 points. I mean, that is just not captaincy, that's a cheat code. And it makes sense. I mean, this guy's been on fire, and he led the Chelsea's attack with scoring and assisting. So basically, he wasn't involved in everything regarding Game Week 29 for that Chelsea game. And even the bench joined the party. Anderson with 12, Casemiro with 8, Pickford with 6. Look, this was a full control from start to finish. And for Game Week 30, for the Top Fantasy Club, Oliver said, let me quickly collect those points. 110 points, not loud, not flashy, but effective. A bench boost as well activated. So clearly this chip does deliver. And it seems like everyone is getting the memo these past few weeks in regards to using this chip, except some of us. Looking at the squad, we see Captain Gordon has 22 points, which was very solid and reliable. There was no drama there. And we don't see any crazy haul for this game week or players that Oliver chose. Just a balanced team doing pretty well. And even in the bench, the only person who managed to chip in was Kunha with 8 points. So it wasn't much chaos. This was just control and I think a bit of luck.
And just like that, we're moving to Team of the Week for Game Week 28. And some players decided to go full statement mode. Damscore with 18 points is a chef in the midfield, creating and assisting as well as scoring. And as well as Ekatike with 15 points, proving he's more than just a hype name, huh? And then Jay Gomez with 14 points was quietly cooking behind the scenes. Total points for the Stream Squad was 129 points. That's like a domination in style. And this team didn't just perform, they pretty much announced themselves. And for Game Week 29 Team of the Week, the squad came to make a statement. We've got João Pedro with 19 points, where captaincy was done right, carrying the week if you had captained him. And then Tarkowski with 15 points, where defense was saying, don't sleep on us. And Sar with 15 points, adding flair and those final touches. So the total points for this powerhouse is 139. Yeah, this team was hitting top form, eh? So for Game Week 29 Team of the Week, they basically stole the spotlight. And to wrap the Team of the Week, we've got Game Week 30. And for the Game Week 30, the team kept a very streak alive, but it was more balanced than explosive if you look at it, because we've got Mauro Panos with 15 points, who was quite solid at the back, keeping things quite tight there. Then Barkley with 12 points, doing his part in the midfield, quietly being impactful. And then as you can see, we've got 6 players who were tied on 11 points. So everyone was contributing. There was no stars pretty much hogging the show. Total points, we're looking at 116, which is a steady week, and just also enough to remind everyone that consistency still counts in this game. So, summary, Game Week 30 wasn't flashy, but very efficient and effective. And next is the eKasi league table. So, Chipsters, yeah, a very nervous moment of silence, where every point here counts, every chip matters, and bragging rights are a serious business at this point. And top 3, we've got still Last Days of Rome with 1,694 points. Still flexing at the top, but I'm sure they feel that heat that is behind them, because they've got Tetabo FC with 1,678 points. Jeez, what's wrong with me? And they're nipping at the leaders here, just 16 points shy. So that tension is definitely building. And then we've got a new top 3 who's taken all out FC's spot. We've got Breaking Badly with 1,660 points. So they are slowly climbing the ranks and, just snatching that 3rd spot. So we need to watch for this team, guys. Momentum is really real. And the rest of us are still fighting for glory, if there will be any. But I guess for those top 3, it's all about that cash prize, the jersey, and the silverware. So Game Week 31 is coming fast, and this race is tighter than ever. One slip and everything can change, Chipsters. So this is what makes the EPL League mad fun. The tension is building, time is running out. Gotta use your chips at the right time, as we see many injuries throughout or across most clubs. So it's pretty hard to know who to captain and which players will basically give you maximum returns. So good luck, and time is ticking. Tips on Game Week 31. Now, Chipsters, this week is where some of the league's biggest names decided to take a little holiday. It's a blank game week, so your Arsenal, City, Wolves, Crystal Palace aren't in action. So if you've got players from these clubs, they're just going to be sitting on 0, which is really brutal, right? So this kind of week turns even the calmest managers into nervous wrecks. Teams that do play is United, who are still doing well, creating chances. So Bruno could be a good shot for captaincies. There's Fulham, Newcastle, West Ham, Brentford. So maybe focus on their attacking players who can suddenly become your premium picks that you want, including your starting 11. So the trick here isn't who you would normally pick, but basically who's actually going to get minutes on the pitch. Right, and then chip strategy, I'm leaning more into the free hit. Normally you save this, but for this week where certain teams aren't playing, maybe this free hit could save you. I don't think it would be a waste if you use it for this week. It would be more of like an insurance type of play.
And my final word is a field of a full team of players who are actually kicking a ball this week. Implies that Gameweek 31 isn't about glory or medals, it's about survival. So more minutes equals more points. That's simple. Good luck, Chipsters! And Chipsters, before we end this episode, I just still want to say I am super, super bummed that, I tried to get a City fan in here for some insights, but they went MIA. So that really bummed me for this episode. But anyway, we'll keep it real. The EPL title race is on fire. The eKasi League is also heating up, and every point counts, every chip matters, and Game Week 31 is looking tricky. Shout out to all managers. May your captains haul, your benches deliver, and may your free hits save you from blank week chaos. Play smart, survive, and remember, football isn't just a game, it's a lifestyle. And hey, while you're here, like, subscribe, and comment. And drop your suggestions. Tell what banter, what tea, and which players you want us to roast next. Chipsters, Game Week 31 is coming fast. Field those 11s. Keep the points flowing. And remember, if you slip up, your mates in your leagues won't let you forget it. Until next time, stay cheeky and stay winning. Sharp fitted.